Hello and welcome to Get Hungry Roos. I'm your host, RobyLane. Today we're going to be talking about gluten. So, what is gluten? According to the Celiac Disease Foundation, gluten is a general name for the proteins found in wheat, rye, barley, and triticale, a cross between wheat and rye. Gluten helps food maintain their shape, acting as a glue that holds food together. Gluten can be found in many types of food, even ones that would not be expected. This being said, in a lot of gluten-free baking, you have to use a product called xanthan gum. It acts like a gum and is gluten-free, and that is how we're able to make the food still stick together even without gluten. So some people have a gluten intolerance, which just means that they can't really break down gluten in the same way that most people can. And some people have celiac disease. I sat down with Maddie Murphy and let's go to the interview. Today I am joined by Miss Maddie Murphy.
Hello.
When were you diagnosed with celiac?
My entire life I've been getting sick from, we didn't know at the time what it was, but at 16 years old, I was diagnosed through a blood test.
Mm-hmm.
So, around 16, 17.
Yeah, okay, so you experienced gluten. You got to, eat
Oh, yeah,
all
to the max.
food.
Think about any childhood normal American food, just
Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts, Twinkies, pizza rolls, this normal food, and I'd eat it, and it was so normal for me to just get sick.
Yeah, and then you just have to go cold turkey.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's nothing you can really do about it because it's your health.
But yeah, when I saw your introduction for Morello's class, and you said that you had celiacs, or you said you were a celiac individual. How do you prefer people to refer to that?
I don't really mind. I just want to make people aware that celiac is very different from just a gluten intolerance,
right?
Because it has to do with our cells thinking that gluten is a foreign invader. So
right.
It's that you can't manipulate. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but they haven't released a way to do that yet. So yeah. I don't really mind. It's just emphasis on the celiac.
Yeah.
Because that's the health part. It's kind of have to be more cautious. They're both really serious, but there's slippery slope.
I would say I have a moderate to severe intolerance.
Yeah.
But it's not celiac. I managed to get to 22 years old without knowing that I had celiac, without knowing that I had gluten intolerance.
Really?
Yeah. And the reason they caught it, I had GI stuff wrong my entire life. But the only reason they caught it was because my eczema.
Did it make you break out?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that was happening. Okay, so with my skin, I don't know if it's from my medicine, because I take Adderall for my ADHD, which is a completely different diagnosis, obviously. Yeah. But it would affect me in ways that, before I knew that I was celiac, but I was still getting sick by things. Say, I ate, a bagel, and I take my medicine, my skin would turn, splotchy, little purple. It was weird, so... Yeah. I'm happy to hear that someone else had, a skin thing that would happen to them.
Mine was more...
I'm not happy, but you
Yeah. It's nice to, share, have a shared experience. It's not just you.
Yes.
For me, it was more of... Because it was in my system, my hands and my... I would have it all over my body. I have it in my ears. If I get glutened,
dun, dun, dun.
done. This is the worst thing in the world.
Yes.
I'll get it on my lip now if I eat gluten.
Oh man!
And then it gets on my hands really bad. So I'm still getting gluten out of my system.
You detoxing it?
Yeah, because I think it takes 3 or 4 months before gluten entirely leaves your body.
Yeah, because this makes me think of, I don't know if it's the same with gluten intolerance, but does it mess with your, they're little finger things in your stomach. They're shaped like fingers, and they catch all your nutrients. I just don't know how to say the word. But mine took, I think, 2 years to recover fully from all the celiac damage, because it's what's in your small intestine is what it attacks.
Right.
And so, it took for me at least, a couple years, because I had years like
Right.
of extreme, like, you know, bread, like cookies, pastries, normal stuff. I didn't grow up in like a healthy organic family. I grew up in like complete opposite. So yeah, I didn't know how long it took for people with like gluten intolerances, or if like the same thing happened, because it's like very scientific.
Yeah, and it's different for every person.
Yeah.
Yeah, what my dermatologist told me was you won't notice a difference for 2 to 3 months. And once that like 3rd month hit, then I started actually seeing a difference. But
I'm happy that you're seeing a difference.
It's nice. It's not like it would get to the point like if you see my nail, it's damaged. It's like rigid. Here, like just
Was that from like
my eczema would cut off circulation.
Oh, I didn't know it.
And it gets so inflamed.
I am very uneducated about eczema, so that's
I've had
it
since I was 2, because that's probably when I started eating gluten.
Oh.
Right. What is too much cross-contamination for you? Because like I know for me, too much cross-contamination is like touching.
Yeah, it could be, for example, if someone makes a pizza on like a pizza pan that's gluten, and then they don't clean it off, they don't wash it, and you make a pizza on that same pan that's gluten-free, I can't eat it. I have to have a separate toaster at my house. I have separate cabinets. It's very little like crumbs could just set it off.
Yeah, there have been times where I want to bring in snacks because I bake gluten-free, but then I'm like, oh, but what if I accidentally gluten Maddie? It's so bad.
I appreciate the concern.
Yeah.
No, yeah. It's something I have to look out for anywhere, any restaurant, unless they're like a gluten-free place. Just my house, my friends' houses. It's always, you're always going to test the waters without even intentionally doing it. So, yeah, very small amount.
So, eating on campus, what does that look like for somebody with celiac?
To be honest, I don't eat on campus. I never have. I know that they have like a gluten-free section in the cafeteria, or at least they used to, because when I first enrolled here in 2019, and we did the tour, they showed, this is, if you have food allergies, come to this little island area and we'll make you something. But just like personally, it's easier just to bring my own food places. It's easier to make stuff and just carry a little lunchbox with me.
Yeah.
Because you just never know. In school is one of the last places that I want to be sick, because you're surrounded by so many people. The campus is big. There's no like private bathrooms or anywhere. So I don't eat on campus unless I buy snacks from the bookstore, like fruit snacks and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty much non-existent.
Yeah. So restaurants that have gluten-free options, do those feel safe for you?
Yes, it feels safe, especially on the website if they mention, like, we are friendly to celiacs, because there are some advertised gluten-free places that aren't safe. And some normal brands, like, let's just random one, Domino's, they have gluten-free pizza, but they say on their website
it's not safe.
It's not safe for celiacs because we cross-contaminate. So to answer your question, it makes me feel good, but at the same time, there's very few restaurants that are truly gluten-free. But luckily, they're close to the school, so it's not like I have to travel a far distance if I'm hungry or not.
Yeah, I know that when I found out that I had gluten intolerance, the place I went to was Hawaiian Bros.
Oh, yes. Because, like, mostly everything there's gluten-free except for the mac salad or whatever. Yeah.
And then you can just get that off. And
it's so easy. You don't have to worry about it. And it's like I've seen them make the food in front of me. I know they just, like, take it, scoop it, put it in the little tray. But, like, I've seen them, like, do it separately where they aren't touching. Like, the same spoon isn't touching, like, the meat or the pineapple or the mac salad. So...
yeah.
Hawaiian Bros is a good place. Good choice.
Yeah. I went on a road trip at the end of March, and it was my first road trip being gluten-free. And I did not want to stop. I didn't want anybody to talk about food. Because I was driving, and I was like, there's nothing I can eat that's going to be clean on my steering wheel. It's going to taste good. It's going to stay good if I bake it beforehand.
Yeah, like on the road, like for example, my extended family lives 4 hours away in a little rural town. And on the way there, there's gas stations. It's cornfields and gas stations. And I don't know if y'all have been around like little rural towns, but there's not like organic, healthy, gluten-free places. It is the like made from scratch biscuits. They got pastries, just everything that you could imagine is gluten. So
Yeah.
I live off trail mix, Planters trail mix or whatever. Candy, it's a bunch of candy and snacking. So parts of road trips that I hate is the food part, because it's either I have to pack a bunch of snacks or I'm stopping and getting just candy and chips the whole time. And it's junk, and you don't want that. Like, if you had to eat like that all the time, like, you know, someone would get annoyed with that. So
When the only thing you can eat is French fries.
yes.
And sometimes those aren't safe.
Yeah, because they're cooked in the same fryer as like fried chicken somewhere.
Right.
But Chick-fil-A, you know, they have gluten-free fries. Even though they're a little controversial, they have gluten-free fries. That's just a fact. And they're cooked in peanut oil, so.
And they have a gluten-free bun for their grilled chicken sandwiches that you can ask for.
And it's separate.
It's separate.
So you know it's safe.
It's safe, but it's not good.
Yes.
And so I, like, ever since I became gluten-free, that's why I started baking again. Because I was like, everything sucks. All this food sucks. I love food. I don't want to be like, oh, I don't really want to eat because this food tastes awful.
And sometimes it's like not even good, but it's super expensive.
Right.
Like my bread, the cheapest bread I could find as a food example is $5 for half a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
And there's some that go for $10 plus. I get like the cheapest one because I go through it like crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to start baking and cooking because you also realize I don't want to drain my bank account just so I can feel good.
Yeah,
and
just so I can eat and enjoy it.
Exactly. It's like no one should have to drain their bank account for necessities. Like that's not okay. Like,
no.
That's just not okay.
Yeah. I found, well, my mom did, Gluten-Free on a Shoestring. Have you ever heard of her?
Mm-mm.
Her son has a gluten. I don't remember if
she like a Pinterest mom?
She was a lawyer. And then, she was a lawyer, and then she changed her career and started food blogging. And so she has a bunch of food recipes, and it's like how to make food cheap, gluten-free food cheap.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then
she's like our savior.
Yeah, she'll give a price comparison on some of the foods. I have the one I use the most is an English muffin bread.
Oh, I love English muffins. They're so expensive. That's the other thing. They're so expensive.
I can make a 9x5 loaf for less than $10.
Oh, yeah. You know what? For the store, four of them for like $7, $8.
Yeah.
Like, no.
And then it's frozen.
Yeah, it's frozen. You have to let it thaw. It's like...
You have to let it thaw. And then you're the only one eating it. Usually.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is like, well, it doesn't taste good. Why would I eat it? Food is something that becomes a community. We feed our children and they feed theirs. We go out to social events with friends. So how does being gluten intolerant lead to a loss of community? Is there one? It was nice for me that I found out in 2022 because a lot of stuff has come a long way in just the past couple of years. I mean,
I agree.
When I was in high school, I knew a girl who had celiacs, and we would go out and she'd be like, "Oh, I can't eat. You guys go ahead." And I always felt so bad. My love language is food.
Yeah.
And so I want to feed people, and that's when she's the reason I tried my first gluten-free cupcake.
Oh, gluten-free cupcakes, so good. They're so good. I forgot what normal cupcakes taste like. So.
Yeah. Especially if you go to like places like Morgana's that are specialized gluten-free.
And like it's not just like, oh, here's like a gluten-free like little pastry and there's one option. It's like a whole bakery where you can find things like normal food.
Yeah.
You feel included. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but like you feel included with other people because like you said, food is like a love language to people. And when others can't eat, you feel bad. And I've been in that position where I'm like, I don't want to inconvenience anyone. Like, this is what you guys want to eat. Just eat it. Yeah. Like, I'll be fine. It's not your guys' fault that I have this. And, you know, I've been like that ever since I've got diagnosed. I think it's just oh my God, I can't even speak. It's an empathy thing. Yeah. So, I relate to you on that.
It's hard when, like, food is a source of community.
Yeah, and socialization, like, where it really brings people together. And it's like, at those events, it can be awkward, and we don't want to admit it, but when everyone else is eating and you don't want to be rude and act like you don't want the food, but you genuinely can't eat the food. Right. You look like you're ungrateful, but you're not. You're like, I just don't want to get sick. And so you're feeling awkward. Everyone else is eating, doing something with their hands.
Smells good.
It smells good. And you're like, oh, I should have brought something with me. And it's like, you just kind of have to pre-plan your eating anywhere you go. And a lot of people take that for granted, to just eat anywhere, any fast food. Yeah. And they're like, oh, that's your food. It's gluten-free. And it's like, I know it's mine, but sometimes I want to share it with people. It's a love language. Like, you want to be like, here. Like, you know, luckily my mom is obsessed with gluten-free brownies. So if we make that and stuff, it's like I have someone to share with. Yeah. So, because she's open to trying gluten-free stuff.
Yeah. My mom and my maternal grandparents they try everything I make.
Aw, that's so supportive.
Yeah. My dad, I love him to death. He will try the smallest crumb and then be like, yep, it's good.
Oh, it's like, honey, it's amazing.
But then he doesn't touch it. And all my doctors would say, oh, you'll grow out of it.
That's what the doctors would tell my parents, because I was getting sick ever since I was an infant. Yeah. I had to use soy formula or whatever.
Me too.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yay, soy sisters. But I had to use that because as a baby, like, you know, TMI, whatever, I was a baby. Like, I would have diarrhea every single time. I would eat formula as a baby. And, you know, my mom was probably freaking out. Like, what's the matter with my
probably
child?
Have some malt in it.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, just not a good thing either. Malt is major gluten. So it's just...
it's not just wheat.
It's not just wheat. Like, gluten is a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. So any of those grains could mess someone up. And it's not just... like one bathroom trip, guys, or like one sweat session, you know what I mean? It's days worth of pain, days worth of feeling fatigued, feeling like you just got hit by a bus because your whole system just got taken over by a little protein. Yeah. That's how serious it is. One meal, it could be one bite. Yeah. You know, a drink of a malt, for example. Yeah.
Too much of one thing.
Exactly, and it just triggers it, and there's no really stopping the effects of it. Like, I carry Tums with me, but it's like you could still throw up. You could have acid reflux. You could, you know, go to the bathroom.
My eczema flares up.
Exactly. Shooting pains on, like, my left side of my body, because, like, your small intestine, it's like stabbing. Like, like someone is stabbing you, and it's... Yeah. And imagine that mixed with, you know, we're both people that menstruate. That mixed with your period, cramping? You don't know if you're cramping or if it's your period.
And all my comfort foods are gluten. Like donuts.
All my comfort foods are like gluten-free bread. Like, I could just eat buttered bread for like every meal.
You'll have to let me know.
It's gluten-free though.
Yeah, you'll have to let me know next time so that way I can make you banana bread. I make really good banana bread.
Bread's like...
And it's gluten and vegan.
Oh, yes.
Gluten-free and
vegan. Love vegan.
Yeah. I eat so much more vegan now because it's easier to find something that's gluten-free and vegan.
Yeah, I agree.
And the only times, like, I'll make meatloaf, and it's already gluten-free because I just use Chex Mix, or the Chex cereal.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. And so then... Yeah, that's, I think, probably my main meal that's not vegan, because meat is in the name. But yeah, it's so much easier. I know at Burger, it's like BRGR. Yeah. They have a gluten-free bun.
I don't think I've ever been there.
I haven't either. I was about to order from them today.
Okay, because I was like, I don't think I've ever...
But they have an Impossible Burger that's gluten-free.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's like Health City. Health City. I didn't say the other one. Health. TH.
But yeah, there have been a lot of things that I've learned just like going from in the past couple months.
Reading ingredient lists isn't as simple as just looking for wheat, rye, and barley. Someone aware of their gluten intake must also be aware of other names for wheat byproducts, such as wheat berries, durum, emmer, semolina, spelt, farina, farro, gram, kamut, Khorasan wheat, and einkorn. Sometimes oats aren't even safe. So, if you are getting oat milk because you are also lactose intolerant, sometimes that oat is not gluten-free and could cause a reaction. That was my experience when I first went gluten-free. I didn't understand why I was having a reaction to my hot chocolate with oat milk, and I had found out that I thought I was allergic to all oats now, and that was another thing I'd have to cut out. And then in talking with Maddie, I found out that there was cross-contamination.
Do you drink like almond milk now and
I do.
oat milk? I
Yeah.
drink that too because I've drank it for years. Also because the milk's gluten-free. Milk can have gluten in it too, guys.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it can. That's why if you like look at like Silk almond or that one brand like Silk,
Yeah.
they have like almond milks and cashew milks, and they usually label if it's gluten-free or not because sometimes during the processes it could get mixed together.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
There are so many things that I don't think to check.
Like oat milks especially, those can be can have gluten in them.
That's probably why I don't agree with oat milk.
Mm-hmm. It depends on the type of like, the brand, but
Yeah.
some of them have it in it because I've accidentally like bought milk that's oat milk and it's like, oh, it's the cheapest one, and then
Yeah.
you flip it over and you're like, no wonder it was the cheapest one. It literally has gluten in it.
Yeah. And because it was only if I drank almond or oat milk from like Starbucks. That's when I would get sick.
Really? Also, yeah, Starbucks.
Yeah, for like a chain.
Starbucks can have a problem with cross-contamination because they use all the same machines and stuff.
I usually go to the filling station.
Oh, I love the filling station.
And they have gluten-free goodies sometimes, sweets.
I haven't been to the filling station like a little bit because I used to live in Westport, and then now I live in Lee Summit, which is my hometown, not was, but I'm still here. I'm still here, guys. But yeah, we don't have a filling station out in Lee Summit, so it's usually something I get if I come out here. And Crow's Coffee, I love Crow's Coffee. They don't have any gluten-free like pastries, but their mochas are really, really good.
Yeah.
Really strong espresso.
Yeah.
But like the texture.
Yeah.
And the price.
Texture's never right.
I'd say texture and price of food, because even at a restaurant, like if you're gluten-free, you have to pay like $1.50. Yeah, upcharge of $1.50. Like, sorry, I have an allergy.
Yeah.
Because, like people on the gluten-free diet for a fad, that's where it kind of messed up the seriousness for people like us, because it's like, we're not doing this to be on a trend.
Yeah, no. And I always feel so judged. Like, whenever I say, and I'm gluten-free.
Yes, I feel like I'm asking, like, for them to, like, wash my feet or something. Like, I'm asking so much of them, and I'm literally just asking them, hey, can you make sure this doesn't, like, make me throw up?
Yeah. My parents and we went to Texas Roadhouse one night.
Oh, I never go there.
And it was, I was like, I got the salmon. And the rice and the fries. And
you got the fries? Did that hurt you?
No.
At all? It didn't?
No.
That's surprising.
But they had no idea if it was, and they put it all in the same thing and then said, oh, wait.
No.
I was like, yes, that would be cross-contaminated. If those fries, so...
It's like a big red X over the meal now. It's like, can't even touch it.
And so, luckily, they checked with the cooks, and the cooks were like, no, they're gluten-free, like, they're safe. We don't cook them in, they don't cook them in the same fryer as, like, the cactus blossom or whatever it's called.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, because, like, that's...
Bloomin' onion, whatever it is.
Yeah. I was like, Texas Roadhouse, I have not been there in so long because, I mean, the main thing that people go there for is the, like, bread and everything like that. And when you can't eat that, stuff like that isn't exciting to you because you literally can't do anything with it. You're just like, oh, I'll have a Caesar salad without croutons, without this, and everyone else is eating rolls.
Yeah.
So it's just somewhere I never really go to.
Yeah. Like Olive Garden.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I think they have like 2 gluten-free pastas, but that's nothing compared to, and I'm grateful, but that's nothing compared to like the mass menu that they have.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. My sister, so I went gluten-free October, November of last year. My birthday's in February.
Ooh.
She got me a $50 gift card to Olive Garden. And my other sister was like, are you serious? She can't eat that.
You're like, thank you.
Thanks for the food.
Gluten-free rigatoni, whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's good. It doesn't taste like gluten-free pasta, which made me nervous.
Yeah, like pasta. I mean, I've been so used to gluten-free food. I mean, it's been 6 years of eating it consecutively. I mean, there's times where I've accidentally been glutened, but the like texture of things to me are so normal now. Mm-hmm. So it's like I don't remember what a normal noodle tastes like.
Yeah.
I don't remember what normal stuff tastes like. Yeah. So
yeah, my dad, he has really been trying. He makes spaghetti every Sunday night.
And are you guys Italian?
No.
Oh.
He
oh, that's so cute.
But he'll do it in a separate pot. But speaking of Italy, I actually had a question about Italy for you. Did you know how they are with celiac individuals? Have you heard about like their policies?
Italy?
Yeah.
No, but
they're one of the best countries to be celiac in.
Okay, so that reminds me, one of my teachers in high school, it's like a writing class or whatever. I remember him like finding out I had celiac, and he said that like it's better in different countries because they don't put as much, like it's not as processed in their foods, and there's not as much like contamination of other things. But ever since then, I've been wanting to go to Italy. It's just like I want to try their pasta. But I didn't know like if they accommodated for gluten-free people.
It's one of the best countries to have celiac in. They have if you are
moving to Italy.
If you are an Italian citizen. First of all, they test all children under the age of 6 for celiac. So you find out before you get accustomed.
Imagine if they would never do that in the United States.
No,
they would never. No. Look, oh, what?
You just need to get over it.
Deal with it yourself.
Snowflake.
Oh yeah, here's $100 for saying hello to you today.
Yeah.
Like, thank you. I'm cured.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But they have an app that will help you navigate. It's specifically the Italian Celiac Association.
That's a thing.
That's a thing.
Oh my god.
And if you're an Italian citizen, I think you either get a stipend for groceries or you get coupons, something like that. So that way, because they're aware that it's
Are
better.
you kidding? No, I calls my mom right now. I'm like, I'm moving to Italy.
Yeah. And it's only for
really
people,
cool.
I think it's only for people with celiac. I don't think it's for people with like gluten intolerance. Because you can't check that.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It's just kind of like a guess. Isn't it kind of like a guess? I mean, I
took it out of my system. I felt better.
Oh, good.
So,
yay.
Yeah, it took a week. So my mom's been thinking about, like, if she needs to try it. And
does she feel the same kind of?
She has eczema. She has the same, like, GI stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, just try it for a week. And if you don't feel better in a week, you don't have gluten intolerance.
Yeah, like... I have a few family members where, like, they have the same exact symptoms as me. Mm-hmm. And they're like, but I don't know what it is. Like, I'm not lactose intolerant. And it's like, okay, but how do you feel if you eat, like, bread? And they're like, well, like, I usually eat bread and then I'll have, like, a glass of milk. So, like, they don't know because they're, like, rural. Yeah. So it's like but, like, you know, having a glass of milk isn't a weird thing in like a small town. I don't know.
Yeah. I used to drink milk by the gallon. Like,
I could never.
And then I became lactose intolerant. I did that to myself.
I wonder why.
You can develop lactose intolerance.
You can.
I think it's the same with gluten at any age. And so I was drinking too much milk. And so my body was like, hey, guess what? We can't process this anymore. To conclude, while eating or not eating gluten will affect your budget, your community, the way you eat, the way you live, there are a lot of good things that come out of it. You make a new community, new foods, and you keep on keeping on. This is RobyLane, signing off.